Today I'm going to introduce a Chinese classical instrument called Pipa. So Pipa is a plucked string instrument with a fretted fingerboard originated from China over 2,000 years ago. It actually evolved from the straight neck pipa and the curved neck pipa according to historical readings. As for the straight neck pipa, it already existed in the Qing and Han dynasties of China and was called Qing Hanzi, or loquat, which is a kind of fruit at the time because the fruit has the same pronunciation as pipa in Chinese. With the round shape and straight handle, pipa was developing from the tao, which meant a kind of rattle drum. After the Emperor Wu of the Han Dynasty defeated the Hans and took control over the western regions, the Silk Road was established. What came next was the prosperous cultural infusing and integration, along with the trading between East and West on Silk Road. Moreover, Hu Pipa, a kind of curved neck pipa, was also introduced from Central Asian regions. There are 4 axes and 4 strings for Hu Pipa. After undergoing the continuous reshaping of artists of all dynasties and drawings on the elements of introduced exotic instruments, the pipa's unique Chinese style is formed to become what it looks like today. Pipa is deeply appreciated by the literary of all dynasties in China. It is depicted in the poem Pipa Xing, or Ballad of the Lute by Bai Juyi in Tang Dynasty. She turned the pegs and tested twice or thrice each string. Before a tune was played, her feelings sang. The thick strings loudly thrummed like the pattering rain. The fine strings softly tinkled in a murmuring strain. When mingling loud and soft notes intertwined with the string, you heard large and small pearls cascade on plates of jade, which is 大弦嘈嘈如急雨，小弦切切如丝雨，嘈嘈切切错杂弹，大珠小珠落玉盘。The poem has vividly showed the features of the musical instrument pipa, which has a clear and sweet timbre and rich musical expression. When Princess Xijun was dispatched by the Emperor Wu of the Han Dynasty to marry the king of Kunmi, which is Wusun Kingdom in the western regions of ancient China, she took a musical instrument, Qin Pipa, as the comfort of homesickness. On the long way toward a foreign country, her only companions were her pipa and a horse. In fact, pipa is a musical instrument that can be played on horseback. For example, in Liangzhou lyrics by Wang Han in Tang Dynasty, he wrote, "Fine wine in a luminous glass, one wants to drink, but the mounted pipa player orders us onwards. If we are drunk, crouching on the battlefield, do not laugh. Since old times, how many men return from war? 葡萄美酒夜光杯，欲饮琵琶马上催。醉卧沙场君莫笑。古来征战几人回。" One wants to drink, but the mounted pipa player orders us onwards shows the moving atmosphere in which one drinks unconstrainedly in feasts before wars, showing the solemnity and to war sentiment and soldiers' unafraid attitude of death and determination to sacrifice for the country. According to the old record of Tang Dynasty, the music, which is 旧唐书音乐志, old pipa were played with plectrums made of hardwood. It's manifested in Ballad of the Lute by Bai Juyi. Plectrums were taken back after tone was over. The last voice, made by 4 strings integrated, was similar to cracking cloths. 曲中收拨当心画，四弦一声如跌井。
所以《琵琶行》是这样写的，所以大弦嘈嘈而绝，是这样子的。还有我发展的可以可以 多玩法的。
In the Zhengguang period of Emperor Taizong, fake fingernails appeared to replace plectrums because they allowed players to better control the instrument and to produce music more expressively and attractively. Nowadays, pipa is always played with fake fingernails. In 33 BC, the leader of the northern Huns, Chief Hu Hanxie, came to the Han Dynasty with initiative and claimed allegiance to the Han Dynasty. He also asked for a royal intermarriage to maintain the friendship with Han Dynasty. So Zhao Jun was sent by Emperor Yuan of the Han Dynasty to marry Chief Hu Hanxie, which brought 60-year peace between Han Dynasty and Hans. The poem writes as, "The border is closed, cattle and horses scatter in the wild, no dog barking and soldiers alerting for 3 generations. No wars and conflicts among people in the border. 边城雁闭，牛马不也，三世无犬犬之景，梨树无干戈之意." In the Tang Dynasty, the development of Pipa reached its peak. Pipa was popular from the imperial orchestra to folk singing performances, so there were a large number of Pipa players and music. One of the most well-known Pipa pieces, known as the House of Flying Daggers, literally translated as Ambush from 10 Sides, was inspired by the Gaixia battle between Chu and Han. In 202 BC, the king of the Han, Liu Bang, led the troops and sent envoys to the king of Chu, Xiang Yu, to contact the military officers Han Xin and Peng Yue. Liu Bang promised to share the territory with them and grant the large land in the future. Soon after, the vassals immediately responded and sent troops to besiege and pursue Xiang Yu, who was retreating to Pengcheng. Moreover, Han Xin went from south and passed from Kingdom Qi with 300,000 soldiers to cut off Xiang Yu's retreat ways to Pengcheng. Finally, he retreated to Gaixia and was trapped by Han Xin's ambush from 10 sides. So the Gaixia battle was started and troops of the various vassals swarmed in and surrounded the army of Xiang Yu. With just thousands of soldiers with him, Xiang Yu broke the encirclement and escaped to the Wujiang River. He had no choice but committed suicide near the river. To memorize Xiang Yu, the poetess of the Song Dynasty, Li Qingzhao, created a poem, "Being a hero when alive, being a ghost hero when dead. 生当作人杰，死亦为鬼雄." A memorization of the hero who refused to go hometown after battle failure. Xiang Yu is probably the last aristocrat of ancient China. The Pipa piece, Ambush from 10 Sides, consists of 13 sections, each highlighting the following: array in camps, imitation of blowing and winding instruments as the army marches, appointing generals, lining up, walking in formation, ambush, small battle on Jieming Mountain, large battle on Jiuli Mountain, defeat of King Xiang's suicide on Wujiang River, triumph of the troops, generals fighting for the credit, and eventually returning to camp with victory. As you can see, pipa is a Chinese traditional instrument full of profound historical evidence. It's not only an instrument that can play elegant, playful music and serve for entertaining purposes, but every single piece of pipa music has a complex story and deep historical meaning behind it. There are also countless famous pipa music pieces that I could talk about in my future videos. So please like, subscribe, and comment down below to let me know if you're interested.